Milltek Sport, Civic, Cup time. Sun's out, guns out. I'm Paul O'Neill, Andy McEwen. Guns are not out because it is too hot. Mate, it's warm, man. It's warm. What are we gonna get here?
This is tropical. We're in the northwest of England, for God's sake. This is not what we were expecting. But hey, I'm not complaining because I enjoy the sun. This lot, though, I think they're going to have a bit of a tougher time with it, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I've seen a few tyres with stickers on, so new fronts. Ryan Bensley in particular, if he's down 7th or 8th. All the drivers are speaking to each other at the minute. I think this is going to worry them because the drivers who know about this place, it's one of the biggest brake degradation circuits I know of. Long pedal, material will be working hard. It's going to be an hard one for this, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've got lots of new drivers who don't have those years of experience to draw upon, and the testing they did yesterday, it was 8 or 9 degrees cooler than this. It was overcast like it was for qualifying this morning, so this is going to be drastically different from what they're used to. Only a 15-minute race, but like you say, you really use those brakes a lot here, and as soon as you lose those brakes, it gets really dicey. So yeah, I think we'll see a few struggle in the second half. Yeah,
in the comms box in a second, me and you together, you're going to go off in a minute. Who are you thinking looking at it? So we got Camp the Champ, Jack Harding looking strong, but they're all talking, them two boys there together. So Campy on the left and Jack on the right, they look like they're in good spirits, but we'll soon find out, eh?
Campy's always in good spirits, isn't he? He's just here for a laugh at this point, isn't he? He's proven what he needs to. I'll tell you what though, Jack, second on the grid, what an effort that is. His second event ever in the championship, in the car and in front wheel drive. All of his experience in rear wheel drive, and he stuck it on the front row. If he can get a podium out of this, he'll be really pleased.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Right, you scoot off, mate. I'll see you in about 5-10 minutes maybe. 10 might be pushing it. There's one thing I do want to do, and if it's okay, if you could follow me, I want to go and speak to a good friend of mine, Chris Hosey. Get that, look at that. Andy McEwen trying to get over the... Go on, Andy, we've got you live. That's how it works in live TV. Come with me, let's not get run over. So Chris is a good friend of mine. Great with stats, great with commentary. He's coming with me actually to ITV Sport to do a bit of comms and a bit of running around. What are you thinking about Civic Cup? Who do you think, mate? Looking at quali, who's going to do well here?
Well, personally, I think that the championship #1 car, Camp, might be possibly a good pick for doing well because he was quick in qualifying. I was actually watching the qualifying earlier this morning, and I think that car is very, very quick. But again, I'm not really going to blatantly say, oh, this driver's going to win it, because this is Civic Cup. It's one of the most competitive one-make series, not just in Britain, but I think in the whole of Western Europe, because you've got equal cars and you've got two very competitive classes. You've got the main Civic Cup class and, of course, the small yet still very competitive Production Cup as well.
Top man. Well, you heard it there first. I forgot about the production guys as well. They've got the... Thanks for reminding me about that. So we've got the safety car as well. They're actually driven by a couple of my friends. They're going to go out and track in a minute. Let's go and speak to a couple of the... You don't want to be spoken to, do you? You getting in car now, Campy?
Yeah, I can have a chat with you any time for you.
Oh, he's such a lad. Quickly, what were you speaking to Jack about?
Just saying, basically, get our heads down and get going at the start. Nothing stupid. Let's put on a show.
Worried about Bailey?
Worried about everyone, to be honest. You just never know, do you?
Listen, you get in the car because I don't like it when they blow the whistle and you're not ready. That's cool. Jack is getting into the car. Jack, I won't hold you long. You keep getting changed, mate, and you jump in a second. But mate, you have had a proper strong showing early doors. You're looking like the boy.
Yeah, we've done all right. Me and the team have never done front wheel drive, so we're just learning a lot, and we learned loads at Brands and we've carried it over to here, and hopefully we can get a result, really.
Do you trust Campy?
We'll see, won't we?
Said like a true pro. Jack Harding, ladies and gentlemen. Right, let's go and have a word with the boys. Actually, let's speak to Al. Al, it's your 70th, isn't it, tomorrow?
60th, you cheeky.
I knew I'd get him with that. Safety car-wise, mate, these are a nice few races for you to be involved in. Civic Cup's always cool, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's great. Good to see so many cars out on the grid. Yeah.
Who's your Bezzy mate with you?
Who's my busy mate? That's your best mate.
Yeah. What's he? He's doing all right, isn't he, old Andy, with his Gulf liveried helmet on there?
I'm just ballast, mate. Just ballast.
Right. Are you going to be out too much, do you reckon, with these guys?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. It'll be a good day. Good day. Nice and dry.
Top man. All right, happy birthday tomorrow, mate. 60th, not 70th. I was only kidding. Right, Morgan Bailey. He's really come on very strong. He's getting all ready. Morgan, quick word, fella. Car's always looking awesome. We've spoken a bit of data now and again. You've been very impressive this year, mate.
We're getting there with it, yeah. It's difficult running on our own against some of the teams, but we're getting there. Yeah, so I'm happy.
Can you have a win here or what?
I think so. Hopefully we'll get a good start and we'll go from there.
Oh my word! I love that. Usually it's, oh, we'll see. He thinks he's going to win. Fair play to him, Morgan. Right, okay, let's go and have a word. I want to go and have a word, actually. Matt Luff is not in the best position. He usually is a lot better than this. Luffy, sorry, mate, quick one. My God, how many... Look at this, how many buttons have you got on your deck?
It's an old endurance cast, but none of them work, just those ones.
Yeah, whatever, mate. He's cheating, defo. What have you got? It's like Back to the Future in here.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's a nice place to be, I guess.
You ready to rock and roll, mate? I don't want to disturb you too much. You know you've got to get on. Heat is a problem. Are you worried?
What, as in temperature? Yeah. No, I'm fine. Fitness is good. It's not that hot. Suit's breathable. I'm good. It should be fine. I mean, we've raced in a lot hotter conditions than this, so yeah, I'm not too worried about that at all. They're obviously trying to keep the tyres to a pretty cool temperature is important, but in general, it's not a problem.
Okay, last one, mate. This is not the best qualifying I've ever seen you do.
No, the worst, in fact, I think. I think it's my worst one yet, besides my first ever one where I had a suspension arm snap. So yeah.
Okay. Listen, you crack on, mate. You get in the zone. I'll let you crack on. Have a good one. He's a proper nice lad. We do like the Luffster. Rob Butler, he's doing a good job. Thumbs up, Rob. Yeah, good to see you. Al Williams, Ryan Bensley, he's getting there in 8th position. Watch out for Ryan. I know he's been struggling a bit with the car, but they're getting there. The team are doing a cracking job. Him and Malcolm are doing a cracking job. Right, let's go and see some of the production guys. Follow me. So I don't want them to feel too left out. So, production poll, I think he's now, it's Dave Marshall, isn't it? Where's Dave? Dave. He should be down here in the black car. Where is he? Where is Dave? Have I missed him? Where's Dave? There he is. He's over there. Sorry, he's in the red car. Proper threw me then. Sorry. Last thing you should do as a presenter, which I'm obviously not, I'm a racing driver, is show people the back of your head. Davey, oh my God. Where's the bits missing out the car gone where it stops the door from going flat out and going into my cameraman?
So you know when we said last time out, we were struggling for pace. Yeah. Basically, we went back and said, anything that isn't essential for the car, get it out. So literally nothing left in the doors, but it's all we can do. We're still overweight, but it is what it is.
There was too many jokes there, mate, but anyway. Listen, you weren't on pole, been promoted to pole. It was a quick lap by the boy. I don't know what's happened. I haven't spoken to him yet, but you're pretty happy taking that mantle up?
Yeah, a bit of a surprise, if I'm honest. TSL still had him gridded up as being in first place, so whatever's happened.
Technical infringement of some sort.
Technical infringement. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, but to be fair, we haven't tested here, never driven the track before, so to put it still a 10th faster than Jeekins, who I think was here yesterday, I don't think we can really complain with that, so... Let's see what we can do.
Top man, listen, I'll leave you to it because I know it's something you need to do. Is focus, top man. Get that door fixed and stop putting on that northern accent. It's getting hot. The guys don't want the doors shut. That's why I've just felt a bit of force towards it. Alfie Jenkins, listen, Captain. How's it going, boy? Your car's clean. Izzy's a tip in there. I hope he doesn't watch this back. How you doing? Are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Feeling quite confident. Starting front row. Few cup cars in front that are a bit slower than me and Dave, but we'll see how it goes.
Is that going to be a problem when you've got the cup cars in front? They should be faster, obviously. The back end of their field, you can get caught up because you are so much quicker in these cars that are a bit more underpowered.
Yeah, we catch a few of them, but it's difficult because they've got the straight line speed, but we can get around the corners a bit quicker. So we get a bit tangled up with them, but it sort of settles down halfway through the race, and then we can get our heads down and concentrate on our own race more.
Yeah. Top man. Okay, so what we're looking for? Have you got a win on?
We've got to go for the win, but we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, boy. Right, okay. Listen, I'll leave your door open. I know that's the worst thing you can do to a racing driver. If the door's open, leave it open because it gets so hot in the car. Whistle is blowing. Let's quickly speak to Hughesy. What's going on, son? Can we have a win in this one, or are we just going to try and get her home?
I'm just going to try and keep up with these lot. I know it's red hot, so fatigue with the car and us, it's as we get older, you know what it's like.
What do you mean, us?
Oh, sorry, yeah. Older people. It's just going to be red hot, so we're just going to have to look after the cars we go around.
Yeah, it's a bit black in here, isn't it? So it might be a problem. Listen, whistle's blown, fire your engine up. I'll let you go. Have a great race, Captain.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Right, okay, last one. The cars are leaving. Follow me. Just want to speak to somebody about Louis. technical infringement on the car. Can you tell us anything else about that? Because he was on pole.
We had a plan in qualifying, and basically we said once you've done your qualifying and got where you want to be, we decided then that Lou would go back to the pits. Unfortunately, we didn't realise that he'd got to go back to Parc Fermé, and we forgot all about it. So
no problem. Easy mistake to make. Thank you very much. Right. Sending my best. Louis was on pole. Starts at the back with a 10-second penalty. Nightmare. Andy McEwen, I'll catch you in a minute. I'm not going to fall over that fence like you did.
For voice and data solutions at speeds that are simply out of this world, choose Maximum Networks.
So the 7th round of the Milltek Sports Civic Cup here from Oulton Park is about to get underway. The cars lining up on the grid then, the baking hot sunshine. Now all of a sudden it's like we have ramped up the temperature here at Oulton Park and everybody's sweating in the summer sunshine. The drivers sweating inside their very, very hot Civics, which are lined up on the grid now, ready to go racing over 15 minutes. The temperature definitely getting well into the 20s now, and tyre and brake temperature management is going to be key here. The green flag then is waved at the back of the grid. It's Andy McEwen and Paul O'Neill here in the commentary box to talk you through the action, which is about to get underway then with Alistair Camp on pole position, Jack Harding number 43 alongside the number 1 car. The red lights go on, they're about to go out, and 15 minutes of Milltek Sports Civic Cup racing gets underway. Away they go. Good start made by Alistair Camp. Not a great start from Jack Harding. Morgan Bailey comes up the inside of him and will snatch second place away into the first corner. Dan Thackeray goes third as well. So from second down to fourth for Jack Harding at the start of the race as they run through towards Old Hall Corner for the first time, and out of view down the avenue. There goes Dave Marshall, the pole sitter in the production class. They're 2 and 3 wide ahead as they head towards Cascade for the first time, where Camp leads, Bailey is second, and Thackeray up to third.
Oh, Bailey is looking quick. Look at that, he's straight onto the back of the leader. Camp is going to have to defend. It's a bump draft from Morgan Bailey in the red and white car. Thinks better of it, comes out the throttle because he knows he could run into the back of him, but great clean start. Morgan Bailey saying on the grid walk, or the assembly walk, he was going to gun for it and have it. Ryan Bensley in the 14 car, red and white car, just getting fully involved. And look at that, everyone's having it. Matt Luff, he hasn't had a great start, I don't think.
No, slipped right back, started 5th, and he's about 7th or 8th now, battling with Will Redford as they drop into the Hislop chicane. He will just see off the Kinetic Motorsport driver, but that is not a great start for the runner-up in last year's championship. Then George Out Williams has a shocker as well in the red number 5. He's looking on the inside of Harvey Caton, so George Out Williams having started 7th, possibly outside of the top 10. as they make their way over Clay Hill for the first time. Camp leads, Bailey second, Thackeray third, and Camp cannot escape, can he?
No, he can't. Morgan Bailey, for me, is the person who looks like he's looking racy for this. He did say he just wants to get on the track, and he could definitely win this. And if I was Camp, I'm going to need all of my championship winning experience to make sure he's in front.
Max Edmondson and Harvey Caton side by side. They spent most of the Brands Hatch races side by side, these two, and they're getting some good TV time already. Caton out wide, and that might just allow George Out Williams to get onto terms with them. Not quite as they come across the start-finish line. Camp leads then, Bailey second. Thackeray dropping back now into the clutches of Jack Harding. Jack, I think perhaps struggling to get the front-wheel drive car off the line. That's a difficult art to learn, isn't it, having spent all those years in rear-wheel drive Mazdas?
Yeah, he did make a bad start last time out of Brands Hatch, but sometimes you can just get lucky, and then you try to do a better job, and it can be difficult. Look at that. It's the 29 there. Thackeray so wide. Look, now he's got the run. He's going to have to defend and be careful about this, because Harding is going to try and get on the back of him and get down the inside of him maybe the next time at the chicane. Very, very wide. I think he's already struggling with the heat. They must have made changes for qualifying, because the heat is such a big difference from there. Look at Harvey, he's on it, Finn.
Yeah, Harvey with a good exit from the hairpin there, keeping George Out Williams at bay. Out Williams then down to 11th place. That is not good news for the man who arrives here at Oulton Park third in the championship. Remember, Alistair Camp and Matt Luff are joint championship leaders, so with Luff 7th at the moment and Camp leading the way, this is definitely advantage to the reigning champ. In the production class, it's Alfie Jenkins and Dave Marshall who are joint championship leaders, and they're nose to tail fighting for the lead of that class at the moment as well. So if we get a chance, would be good to catch up with that battle. Side by side into Druids there. That's Bensley on the inside of Butler. Great move from Ryan.
Oh, that's amazing. Butler, one of the fastest, hardest drivers out there. I know Ryan, full headlights on. Ryan was telling me how much he respects Rob. Now let's see if he gets... Look at Matt Luff round the outside. That's difficult. I wouldn't try that on Butler. Butler might run you wide, but he's got to be careful. There's a lot going on behind him. Bensley's away.
That was some real confidence at the high-speed right-hander at Druids for Ryan Bensley. Jack Harding, meanwhile, launches up the inside of Dan Thackeray for third place at Old Hall Corner, and Jack Harding will go into P3. That was a great move, and that was a textbook example of selling the dummy. That wasn't he? Jinked to the outside, back to the inside, and someone bouncing over the grass in the background. That was spectacular.
It really was, and I don't know what's happened at the back end of that, but look at Harding running fast but wide through there. And I tell you what, Thackeray is now looking for that run. Harding, though, really good line through Cascade. It looks wide, but he carries so much more momentum, and it's such a difficult thing to do, technically, in a front-wheel drive car, to keep that momentum up. But Bensley now needs to get his head down, and I noticed one of the cars was already flashing its brake lights in a straight line, and that is when you left foot brake in a straight line with full throttle on to pop back those pistons to the caliper so the brakes work next time. And the brakes are working on those cars. Oh, hip and shoulder, have some of that. Now you're all right, mate, you can have that. Where's this going to end? And watch the rear of the car. Massive respect. Where's that car gone?
Someone just exited stage left towards the gravel trap. Who was that just did not stop going into Nickelbrook Corner? Oh, that is a big crash. That is a car. That might be... it's got the Liquid Molly livery on it. We'll wait and see who that is, but that is not a nice sight down at Nickelbrook Corner. The rest of the field, though, coming out of Druids up towards Lodge Corner, and we will wait for surely the arrival of the safety car on the scene at the end of the lap. Alistair Camp's 8/10 of a second lead is going to evaporate surely. Down towards the first corner he goes through Lodge. Meanwhile, Max Edmondson on the outside of Harvey Caton. Will Redford, having made a bit of a mistake earlier on in the lap, has managed to keep Caton behind, and the red flags, unsurprisingly, are out after the incident down at Nickelbrook Corner. Well, lots going on there in the early stages, and the marshals needing to throw the red flag so that they can get out there and deal with what's happened at Nickelbrook Corner. Scary stuff, Paul.
Yeah, listen, let's not speculate on it, but yeah, well, do you know what the first thing I seen as Jeff Alden is down in the bottom of the pit lane. Brilliant stuff from the marshals. The marshals straight away went to the bottom of the pit lane without being a red flag, stopped him. They must have got radio contact. It was going to be a red flag. They stopped him dead at the bottom of the pit lane and made sure he didn't join the track. So great stuff from our marshals here at Oulton Park. We can see the medical car going on track from our comms box. The driver is apparently okay. The driver is out of that car. And as I say, I don't like to speculate, but it's, for me, I was only just about to talk about the brakes. And I don't even think they've made the first part of that chicane, and they've maybe gone straight on and gone into that scene of that accident.
It certainly seemed that way, and this is something that can happen at Oulton Park regardless of the temperatures, actually, because you ride the curbs quite hard through certain parts of the track. Those curbs are very, very rough, really serrated, and that can give you pad knockoff quite easily, can't it? So, yeah, it is possible that that's what's happened, but as I said, we'll try and piece this together as we go forward. As it is, though, we have a red flag situation, the race then being put on pause. We had completed 3 laps. What it's worth, Alistair Camp had a 1-second advantage over Morgan Bailey at that point, with Jack Harding just having made a brilliant move on Dan Thackeray. That was an MX-5 move that Jack Harding made into Old Hall Corner from the outside, jinked the inside. To have that confidence under braking is one thing, but again, I keep hammering this point home. Jack has little experience in that car, so that makes that move even more impressive.
Yeah, definitely. But listen, when you're at this level and you operate how he does, I don't expect anything less. You do see people come into this championship and struggle, whether they've done front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive or whatever drive it is. But I'm telling you now, you should expect something like that from Jack if he's driving well in a particular car, and that's exactly what you've seen. To do that move he did, that can go massively wrong.
Yes.
And by massively wrong, I mean you get it, just get the undercut wrong, and you fire the car off that's in front so hard into the barriers you look like a bit of a divvy. But that was absolutely spot on. That well impressive.
I remember Henry Neal trying to do a similar thing to Ollie Taylor a few years ago at TCR UK, and yeah, it didn't end quite as well that time. So now there is the scene down at Knickerbrook. The car has gone over the barrier and thankfully has stopped just the other side of the barrier. And as I said, we're hearing that the driver is out of the car. There's certainly no real... well, they're going to certainly try and get the car out of harm's way as soon as they can. But that is rare to see a car go off there, Paul. That's why the chicane is there, to slow them down. But of course, if the car hasn't slowed down into it, then it's just going to keep on going until it hits something.
This is going to be at least an hour stoppage. I'm telling you that. This car's already smoking.
Oh yeah, Max Edmondson.
Edmondson, yeah. So that's the front. That's how hard the brakes are getting worked. His front left. Actually, no, it's not. It's Harvey's car. It's Harvey Catton's car, I think. Yeah, it's his front left, I think, maybe, anyway. You could see the doors being wafted. They were trying to use them like fans as drivers to get the cool air in there. But going back to the accident, that is, you can see on our screen, coming in shot now and leaving the shot, that van is now going to see what damage has been caused or what is going to happen, because now back into the pit lane is the guys on maintenance here. So barrier damage, how you get that car from over that, we have to have a lift and something's going to have to get the Manitou out. It's going to have to be lifted over the barrier. So happy that hopefully that the driver is fine. They'll go to the medical centre, and hopefully nobody down there was hit by anything that was flying around. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. We'll bring you all the news we can for whatever's happened down there. But as for now, if it was me, I'm not the race director, but I would be thinking you can't leave those cars and drivers there, and I'd stay back in your car, because I think you're going to be coming back in the pit lane, because there's no way that is going to start very soon.
That's George Alp Williams, who, remember... yeah, maybe he does. Yes, he's going to go and have a chat with Matt Luff. We'll find a bit of shade. He is Welsh, remember, so this really is a tropical day for George Alp Williams, and the marshals are, I think, reading the body language of the marshal there, I think that was, get back in your car, we're about to send you somewhere, whether that be onto the grid or into the pit lane or paddock, I'm not too sure. So George Alp Williams trudges back to his car now and thinks, oh, I've got to go sit back in the sweat box. Because, Paul, it's one thing to sit in the car's pre-race when you're baking inside the car, but at least then the car itself hasn't generated a lot of heat. But they did 3 racing laps. The engines are hot, the brakes are hot, and now as soon as they stop, these cars rely on the cooler air coming in through the radiators to cool them down. That's not happening now. That is quite literally like sitting inside an oven.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have the heat soak, so that, like you say, there's no air rushing through the vents, through the rad, past any of the parts that are to cool the car down. So, yeah, difficult times for the cars, and it doesn't do them any favours being sat out in the sun. Ryan Benzie's probably in the best place there, the number 14, he's in the shade. But yeah, the cars, they basically just soak up all of the energy and all of the heat while they're there. And like you say, they've put in a load of racing energy, and the cars are just sat there with absolutely no chance whatsoever.
Yeah, just getting another bit of confirmation there from Nicky Lyons that the driver of the car is safe and out of the vehicle. So that was very good news indeed down at Knickerbrook Corner. I'm just waiting to see if we get some news on what they're going to do here, though, because like Paul says, this barrier repair is not going to be the work of the moment. And quite how you get the car out of that particular spot, I can't begin. I've been coming to Oulton Park for 20-odd years. I don't think I've ever seen a car end up there. That is a really strange place, and I can't imagine they've had to recover many cars from that particular bit of the Oulton Park series. So, yeah, it's going to take a while. We do like a good barrier repair here at Oulton Park, though, and this is part of the thrill of racing somewhere like Oulton Park. You don't have acres of tarmac on enough area. If you get it wrong, or if something goes wrong, there are barriers, there are tyre walls, there are gravel traps. It's an old school circuit, and the drivers will all be the first to tell you, hey, we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why we love racing here. And there's too many circuits now which are, can you say things are too safe? I don't think so, but it's more of a challenge. You heard from Max Hart, pole position in TCR UK. You know, he thinks the difference from him being on pole to being third is he's a braver driver than the other guys, and I understand where he's coming from. And I'll be honest, when you put yourself on the line round here, it's different than putting yourself on the line around Silverstone National Circuit, and that's why we race cars. We want to feel, close to, the edge of adhesion, and unfortunately that car flipping over that barrier is exactly that. Very reminiscent of the crash in Formula 1 down the side of the barrier, but luckily there was a door that was able to be opened. It's not like a single seater, obviously, and tell you what, for him to get out of that, I reckon he's left the circuit. It'll be about 100 mile an hour. You brake at the 200 metre board down there, and if the brake, it could have been a sticking throttle, we don't know. It could be sticking throttle, could have been brake failure, could have been anything at all. But to leave the circuit at that speed, not hit anybody.
Yes, that's true.
Hit the barrier, that's a big effort, and it's good to see that these cars are strong enough to withstand that impact.
And that's something else worth talking about, because as we can see, by the way, drivers are getting out of their cars now, so they've obviously been given the call. They're going to sit on the, well, not actually on the grid, they're sort of at the back end of the grid underneath the pedestrian bridge. So if you want a good view of some very hot and sweaty racing drivers and some very well-presented Civic cars, don't go there, Paul. Then head over to the Deer Leaf end of the track now, because you will get a real up-close and personal view of exactly what it's like to sit under a red flag in a Civic Cup race. But yeah, they're staying on the track, which I'm taking as a good sign, Paul, because I think if they really thought this was going to take a long, long time, they would have sent them back to the paddock or at least to the pit lanes. The fact they're keeping them out there, I think, is a good sign at least. To touch upon what you just mentioned there, the safety of these cars, we take this for granted these days, I think, certainly at the higher levels, if you like, in motorsport. But it goes to show that even in a championship like this, the cars, they have to pass such stringent safety regulations for good reason, because they need to be able to withstand fairly significant shunts like that, and that's what gives people like you and these other drivers the confidence to go out there and put on a show, because they know they're as safe as they realistically can be.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the safety systems and the devices in place are absolutely unbelievable. Andy, you've got to remember, a lot of them cars on the grid, they're nearly 20 years old.
Yeah,
they're not young like you, mate.
Thank you, Paul.
But they're old cars, and you know, when you're strapping safety systems in 20-year-old cars and you're going out to race, and every time you hit the brakes and you hit the throttle, you hope it works.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to have, you're brave, and the guys that are on the grid are brave people. Like you say, I've raced cars for years, and every time I go out, I don't take it for granted that I'm not going to be killed or injured. And it says on the back of the ticket, motorsport is dangerous, we know this, but the MS UK, you know, the motorsport governing body in the UK especially, look after us as much as they can. They don't let any of these cars go out without passing scrutiny. I mean, they check everything, and if they think something's dangerous, then you get told off, you get a penalty, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. So, but things happen, and like you say, bouncing off curbs, the heat, difficult, and it takes its toll. So something's obviously happened with that car, but when you hit a barrier that hard and it rotates over the barrier, that's always a massive worry for me. You've got to remember, these cars, lap 2 into the race, lap 3, full of fuel, mate.
Yeah, true.
Full of fuel. Cars don't want to be sat on the side. Cars don't want to be driving around at this speed. They really don't. So, yeah, I think we've pulled a lucky one out here. I've been commentating enough as well for different channels where I've seen some absolutely horrific accidents, and sometimes it's just a wake-up call, mate, because we get very complacent. But I've got to say, I'm always very impressed with the Civic Cup drivers, because for a championship that is, for me, classed as club racing, they are very professional how they go about their business, and they race hard and they race fair. So yeah, hopefully there was no contact that caused that, but I'm sure if it was, then maybe it wasn't meant.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talk a lot about the competitive nature of this championship, and there are so many quick drivers, but it's one thing to be quick. It's a completely different talent to be able to race as close together as they do. And we see this time and time again, every race that we cover of the Civic Cup. It is super close, but super respectful. Bit of paint traded here and there, of course there is. It's a competitive one-make championship, but they all seem to kind of know the limit, don't they? They know how far they can push that. And that's great, given the fact that this is now, especially with the positioning alongside TCR UK, it's seen as a genuine, legitimate stepping stone on the tin top racing ladder. If you want to go and do things in touring cars or in TCR or anything like that, this is a good place to be, because the cars are quick, the racing's competitive, and you can race against people who know how to race hard but fair.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And when I speak to the Civic drivers, that we've seen some dabble. We've seen some go into TCR UK and be very competitive and win races. We've seen a lot of it, and that is the good thing. And the TCR package, for me, is something that, you know, I direct youngsters to. And if they can't afford TCR UK, cut your teeth in Civic Cup. There's Louis started at the back with that 10-second penalty. Interesting, wasn't it, that what happened to him? So he didn't go to Parc Fermé, which is, you know, it's just one of those things, isn't it? So the guys were telling me down there about what had happened. But Rossi Darlington out there, he's he's with, I'm sure is he with Maximum Motorsport? I'm actually not too sure.
TSR Developments is the team listed on the entry list, I believe, but of course all of the cars, I guess, are carrying some sort of Maximum Networks branding, because Mr. Lyons likes to get his logos out there when and where he can. And a big shout out to Stuart and Nicky Lyons for the great job they do of running the championship. Now, this is brave. Sticking a camera in Alistair Camp's face in this particular situation is maybe not the best thing to do, because Alistair is a bit of a loose cannon. You never quite know what's coming out of his mouth next, do you?
Or of his family's mouths. Or he tried to run you over in the paddock with his... I think it was his son that was in the little McLaren Senna, remote control McLaren Senna, as them pictures just breaking up there with the RF signal down there. But gotta say, well impressed with Campy. He's, you know, when you win a championship, you can only be beaten.
Yeah.
You know, to keep the motivation to do what he's doing and to drive, I think, is one of the best club races I've seen in a long time. He's always there, and he's never that far away from winning a race. So again, good for people to come into the championship and you know, go up against one of the better front wheel drive club races in the UK for me.
Yeah, and I think has really the right attitude towards it. Like you say, he's kind of proven himself over the last few years as a seriously quick driver, the driver to beat in this championship, but he's very much kept his humility and his personality, which is infectious. I mean,
he's definitely kept his personality, mate.
Absolutely, for better or for worse. And whilst a lot of other drivers were busy debriefing yesterday evening after a hard and busy day of testing, he was making sure he was in front of the TV screen. Didn't want to miss his favourite ITV dating show last night, did Alistair? And
what's that one?
Well, you know the one well. You applied, didn't you, this year, Paul? I think.
I couldn't be bothered. I was too busy. Yeah, nobody. If I'm thinking it's the one you're on about, nobody needs me on that one. I would definitely clean up, mate, with my body.
I tend to agree with you there, Paul. Moving swiftly on, Alistair Camp there, chatting away with the marshals, and a chance, at the risk of bringing up a serious subject, to give a shout out to the marshals, because you mentioned them there, their quick response to the incident. These are the days, I think more so than the wet and rainy ones, these are the days where I really feel for the marshals, because they're out there in their orange fireproof overalls, sat out on post all day long. We're complaining because we had to go out there and do a 5-minute piece to camera in the sunshine. They're out there all day long, and they have to stay concentrating harder than we do, because they are keeping our drivers and our spectators safe, and they do such a good job.
Yes, they do. And what I will say on that is that I've actually done a Marshall Day at Oulton Park, and I'm one of those people who thinks that it should really count. Every racing driver should do it. They can do it if they want, because it counts as a signature on their race license. Not enough take it up. And I'll be dead honest with you, when I was driving round, when I was younger, I acknowledge the marshals. I'm not a nasty person, but at the same time, I was like, oh, that looks like a cool job. Do this, do that. For another channel I present on, I've done a lot of the fire training as well. I've spoken to the marshals about it. I could not believe what it is like to be a marshal. That is not like being a marshal. That, my friends, that looks like Ryan Bensley's first lap, that. Oh, my word. Actually, we don't know who it was who had a massive jump like that, do we? For anyone listening, oh, good wheelie. So anyone listening on circuit comms, you won't see this. What we're seeing on our live stream. Oh, my. Oh, no. That's a big shunt. Oh, my word. Sorry, if you're listening in, we're just watching some live pictures of a remote control car doing an absolute cartwheel. I mean, talk about happily timed. I thought it was a replay.
I think that might be the last we see of that car now today. That's going to need some repair work done, isn't it? That was the second most spectacular shot of the day that we've seen.
I think Luke behind us from Alpha Live has definitely learnt his lesson. Never show anything like that while O'Neill and Andy are about.
We got action replay in slow-mo. Now, see, this is the red flag content that you came here for. So he lines up for the jump. There's a little beginner one there, and Paul, it's all about to go wrong.
Oh, he's a double peak, look at that, and then an end over end and a big cartwheel. Oh, that looks like my outlap in British touring cars a few years ago. Look at that, it doesn't end, does it?
You did do a similar thing to that at Brands Hatch one time, I seem to recall at Paddock Hill Ben, but we won't dwell on that.
You weren't even alive then, mate, that was 2001.
I've got the VHSs, Paul, I've got the VHSs.
Black and white. How did you notice me? Yeah, those are the days, mate. I tell you, like you say, I know it's we can laugh a bit about accidents and things, but a car rolling over, it really does capture your attention. It really does. It can be either really violent or that one you're talking about in 2001 when I was in a Peugeot. That one I had through the gravel trap. That was actually the lightest accident I think I've ever had. It landed back on its wheels, but there's a great picture of me upside down on my roof as it was going over, rotating, and I've still got the brakes on, and everyone was like, why have you bothered with that? Like, you're 3 foot up in the air, mate. What's the point? So yeah, it's an interesting feeling when you're in a car and you take your hands off the wheel to, and you shouldn't do this, put them up against the roof of the car. But yeah, just going back to the marshals, honestly, I can't wax lyrical enough because I learnt so much that day with how to operate as a marshal, and it's long days, and what you people around the circuit won't realise on the live stream, like if the race starts at 9, we're in here for 6:30.
Yeah,
I was here with them early doors. It was still dark. It was later on in the year. It was raining all day. I went round to a few of the points. I flag marshalled. It was a club racing episode that was on here. It was amazing. One thing they did teach me, which is I just hope you don't mind me talking about it, was you never, ever, ever, ever look where the car has gone when it goes past you. You're always looking at where the car's coming from, because like one of the guys, I think it was Dave actually, Dave, one of the chief marshals I was with, he said, a car is never going to hit you that's gone past you. And that was such good advice, because I'm a spectator and a fan, so I'm always trying to look at cars as they go past, and he said, don't do that. You look here and you get on with what's there. Even if there's a screeching and a crash behind you, that's done and dealt with for the next post. So it was really good stuff. And if you are out here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, then you should, and if you want to take up marshals, speak to someone today, because we don't have enough of the Orange Army, and they really don't get enough credit. So I'm putting it out there. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone saying that.
No, you're absolutely right. And they're volunteers. That's the other thing that it's easy to forget. It's amazing the amount of people that I've introduced to motorsport, brought along to the track, for example, and they see the marshals and they say, oh, how much do they get paid? Well, they might get a bacon butty in the morning, maybe, if they're lucky, but what they're paid by having the best seat in the house and being a part of something that they love and are so enthusiastic about, and that really, they will tell you, is the best payment possible. But yeah, I absolutely cannot thank the marshals enough for everything they're doing.
Yeah, and so we got that BMW X5 will be coming back from something that is going on down at Knickerbrook. So that is a good thing. That is that's not the medical car.
Oh, right. So recovery in progress. So they've tipped the car, they've twisted it round. So they've got a JCB in the gravel trap at Knickerbrook. They've got a flatbed truck actually in the spectator area, and they're going to try and hoik it up onto the back of that flatbed truck. So they've done a good job of getting the car into a more recoverable position. They're also, at the same time, the Oulton Park maintenance staff are rebuilding the tyre wall, and it gives us a view of the Armco barrier, which is a bit worse for wear, Paul, but actually doesn't look like it's given way particularly, so that is good news.
That is what we're seeing is very good news, as that car now is, that's in her right.
It's Jordan Brennan's car, by the way. We can now confirm it was Jordan Brennan's 98 Liquid Moly car. It's a real shame for Jordan, who has graduated into this from sim racing, and yeah, that's not something he'll have experienced properly in sim racing, that's for sure. But yeah, the Armco barrier seems to have done its job there, actually, doesn't it? It's just a row of tyres needs replacing.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that, because usually a heavy impact like that, the reason the car's gone over the barrier is that's just an awkward accident. That can happen sometimes, like we see in F1. But the tyre wall takes the energy out of the accident, but the energy has to go somewhere. So that's when you get a rotation in the car. Rotation, by what I mean is the car will then, the energy will go up and over and it'll start to spiral. So yeah, that's why the car's ended up over there, because the energy's had to go somewhere. The barrier looked in good nick. I mean, we don't know because we're not right down there, but they're starting to put the tyre stack back, which for me tells me a lot of good things. And if you can hear any droning of engines in our live stream, I think someone's on the axle stands in the garage below, absolutely flat out through 15 gears. So if you can hear me, can you shut up?
Yes, well, you know, we've got very little else to talk about, so we might as well have some nice background noise from one of the Time Attack cars. There are some spectacular machines in Time Attack competing, and some very, very noisy ones indeed. But
do you want some good news?
Always.
So Simon McNally's just messaged me and he said, you guys need to come to the awning in a bit. Jane and I have made you a batch of brownies each and you need to judge them. Well, I'm not being funny, mate, but I do not take food off strangers, because if you've cooked them, especially McNally,
they don't get much stranger than that, really, do they?
He's still at Fast R, isn't he? Is that where he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, he'll probably put some weird stuff in there. I'm not being funny. The commentary later on will be very quick and very squeaky if we eat any of his brownies.
It's a long day, Paul. We need to keep ourselves going somehow, keep the energy levels up. Right, we are now getting some news that the session is not going to restart. So that might be all that we have from round number 7 of the Milltek Sports Civic Cup, because I reckon that if it's not going to restart, that's it done for the day, and it's a very tight timetable. We've got other on-track activity coming up, and they are going to try and put it at the end of the day. This is all news I'm getting as we speak, so they're going to leave this race till the end of the day if there is time, because we do have an enormous 15 minutes of extra time built into the end of the timetable. So if everything else today goes to plan and we can squeeze in even a 10-minute race at the end of the day, that's what they will do. In the meantime, they will still have their what should have been second race of the day at 3:45. So the Civics will be out at least once more today, hopefully twice. It will be good to get this race done, and even if we have to wait to the end of the day, I'm sure it'll be worth waiting for.
Yeah, definitely, but please not too late. I've got a barbecue. I'm getting smashed up tonight. I've got a barbecue to go to with a couple of my mates. So, yeah, I've got a bit of halloumi and a bit of beer. So
I thought you'd have been riding off to some other French city or something this weekend, Paul. No, you're having a weekend off.
I had my bike in the back of the car, actually, to ride on the way in, because I know how busy the Tuna Fest gets. If anyone doesn't know, I rode from London to Paris with 16 very good friends for a local hospice charity. So yeah, that's what Andy is alluding to. But yeah, no, I'm saving my bottom, mate. Yeah, I don't want to get it all chafed again. That really did hurt. But look at this. I love how it's like when you're trying to get out of a car park and some idiot parks in the worst place. It's like, mate, get on with it. They've been lucky there because they've all parked on a hill, most of them. So they're lucky that the test your hill starts. You'll have no clutch left to try and get off the hill like that. If you're not looking at the live stream, you're on Circuit Comms, you're just looking at the cars that are just coming off the bottom of the hill at the exit of Lodge Corner. And who is that?
D. McDonald.
Oh, it's Macca with his novice cross on the back. He'll fire that up. You watch now. He'll hook reverse and go and take out the barrier at Lodge.
That's all we need. D. McDonald, who's done a few track days in the past, but his first season of racing, hence why he's got that novice cross on the back of the car, the yellow square with the black cross. And Dean has got it started under the pressure of the live cameras and everything, and pulls it into the pit lane. So, we don't have a result to give you because we do have every intention of hopefully rerunning this race later on in the day. So that is it temporarily for the Milltek Sports Civic Cup. But we've got plenty more racing action coming your way today. The TCR UK cars will be out as our next race here at Tuna Fest. If you're listening trackside, the Drifters will be out for their top 16 run next, followed by round number 8. of the TCR UK Championship for 2022. The Civics will then be out at 3:45 and we'll have a TCR race at the end of the day. And there is what's left of Jordan Brennan's car on the flatbed truck. So they've got the car out of the way. The left-hand side is not in showroom condition, it must be said. But actually, it looks like the roll cage inside has stood up to the job there. We will more than likely not be seeing that car again today, though, I imagine.
Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, bit of a sad end, that, wasn't it? That's bit of a problem with those barriers, but like we say, it's not just Civic Cup that's here, so they really need to get on with what they're doing. But main thing is, hopefully, fingers crossed, everybody seems sound from that accident.
Indeed. Right then, well, apologies for the delay to the day, but we will hopefully get that Civic Cup race run at the end of the day. We will next be back, myself and Paul, to talk over the first of 2 races today for TCR UK, and we will be hoping for a good, exciting, clean 25 minutes of racing a little bit later on. For now, though, from the Milltek Sport Civic Cup, that's all for now. We'll see you later.